good people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, happen to click on this video, welcome. I'm Cebile and this is Becoming, a place where we come together, share life stories, share all things life journey. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much fam. I really truly appreciate you. If you haven't yet subscribed, do so consider to subscribe and join the family. So, do you remember the law of Lamarck, like the law of use and disuse? Whatever you uses grows more, and whatever that's not used slowly become less. So, I was just thinking, it randomly came to me to remember that law, and I just like thought of how many times do we have something like what do we do with what we have? Do we use it or do we just like not use it? And I just see how much we lose things because of not using what we have, how much like we don't benefit from what we have because we're not using it. And the more we're not using it, the slowly we're losing it, then it's not growing because it's not being used. And it just took me back to the Bible in Matthew 25 from verses 14 to 30, where it speaks about the parable of the servants, where one was given 5 talents, the other one was given 2, and the other one was given 1. So the 5 used that one, like he invested or whatsoever, he used them and gained more on that, like doubled the number that he was given. And then the one who got 2 as well, like he did the same. He worked and get more from what he was given and double whatsoever that is that he was given. And then there's this one that was given 1. He just hid his talent, and when the master came back, the master just said, "Oh, good servant, you did well," to those that doubled the number of what was given to them. And he said, "I will give you more responsibilities, of which more is trusted to those who uses their things. More is trusted to those who use the little that they have." And to the one that hid his talent, the master just said that, "You know what, you foolish servant, you just give me give me that one that you have." And he gave it to the one who did well, like the one who was given 5 and gained more. So he took that one and gave it to that one, because that one couldn't use what he had to do more and gain more from what he already have. And it reminds me of, do we even recognize what we have? Do we even see what we have? When God spoke to Moses when he was in the bush, like busy with the fish, when he just met God in the burning bush, and he says, Moses says that, "Lord, what if they don't believe what if they don't believe that I'm being sent by you?" And God says, "What is in your hand?" And Moses just says, "Okay, it's a rod." To Moses, that was just a rod, but to God, it was an instrument to make miracles. And from that day, he turned the snake in the rod into a snake, and again said, you hold the tail, and it turned back to a rod. That rod is the same rod that he used to separate the Red Sea, so that the people of Israel can cross over. It's the same road that made a number of miracles. It's the same road that he had the first time he met with God. And we also have to do the same. We also have to recognize what we have in our hands. What is it that we have, so that we can be able to use that we have. When we go to the book of 2 Kings chapter 4 from verses 1 to 7, we get the poor widow that Elisha helped. So the woman has problems. Her husband died and he had debt. So now they are left with debt and they had nothing to pay with. So they wanted to use her sons as slaves so that they can repay the debt. But the woman didn't want that, clearly. So Elisha came. The woman asked help from Elisha, and Elisha asked him a question, and he said that, "What is it that you have?" And he said, "I only have a small, like just a little olive oil, a flask of olive oil in the house." So the woman recognized what she had in the house. She recognized the little that she had To her, that was just a little olive oil that she had, a little a flask of olive oil that didn't even like mattered or anything. But she recognized the little that she had, and that is it that God wanted, so that she can be able to provide her needs. She can be able to enable her to pay the debts and be able like to live with whatever that was left of. And from what she had is the exact thing that was used for her to have more, so that she can be able to sell. So Elisha said that, what is it that you have? And she says that, okay, I have a little olive oil in the house. Then Elisha the prophet says that, go and ask for more, for jars from your neighbors, then come back together, shut the door with your sons, and then start pouring that olive oil. The woman really clearly didn't know that that is going to be more, and it will cover all the jars that she was told like to get from the neighbors. But because of the little that she had, because she recognized the little that she had and just used it and just enable God to use that, so she used it, and more and more and more was pouring. Pour out the little that you have. Pour out the little that you recognize. Pour out the little that is in your hands that you do have. She recognized what she had in the house, and she used exactly that. That's what God needed, so that she can be able to have more. And we see that she had more, like the jars were all filled, like all the jars that she borrowed were all filled from the little olive oil that she had. And she was be able, like Elisha said, go sell and you'll be left with even more to live on. That was more than enough. But the only thing that she had to do was to recognize what she had in the house and tell the prophet, so that what she had can be used to even give more of whatsoever that she is, the problem that she needed to solve the problem that she was in. So we also have to use whatsoever little that we have. God uses what we have. We see the disciples when they're feeding, when Jesus was feeding like the 5,000, and they say that they have to go and get something to eat or whatsoever, like we don't have enough to feed them. They're saying those things, that we don't have enough to feed them. What are we going to feed these people? How are we going to feed these people? And Jesus says that, what is it that we have? What is in there? And they say that we only have 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And that is exactly what God needed. That was more than enough. It was enough to feed more people. But first, they have to recognize and have something to be used. And that little that was there was able to feed a large number of people. It was able to feed 5,000 people. Imagine 5 loaves feeding 5,000 people, 2 fishes feeding 5,000 people. But then God uses what it is that is there. What is it that we have? And it's the same thing with us as well. With the little that we have, whatsoever that we have, it's exactly what God wants in us. It's exactly what God wants to use in our lives to fulfill the purpose that He has for us, and to just bless us and grant us the needs, and just grow us and grow us even more. The more you give, the more you get. But you give whatsoever that you have, whatsoever little that you have, it's what you use and it's what you give. So when you go back and look, like most of those people recognize what they have. They recognize that I have something. They recognize that, okay, that I have a road. Moses recognized I have a road. And same with the disciples. They recognized they have 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And came with as well, the woman, the poor widow. She recognized she had some olive oil in the house. But how about those that don't recognize what they have? And we see that you're clearly not going to be able to use something that you have if you don't recognize it. You first have to recognize it in order for it to be used. When we look at the book of Judges, from Judges chapter 6 verses 14, we see Gideon. Gideon didn't recognize he had strength. When the angel said to Gideon, use the strength that you have, Gideon was just like, but Lord, isn't that us when God says, okay, like use the strength that you have or whatsoever, like do this, start that business, start this, go serve there, go do this, and you were like, but Lord, because he didn't recognize the strength that he had. But the Lord said that go with the strength that you have. And we see that every one of us have potential. We see that as well in the parable of the servants, when talents were granted to them. It says that the talents were granted to them according to their abilities, so according to their potential. So we all have potential, we all have something in us, we all have this potential. And so much as it's not the same, it differs from person to person, but each one of us have potential. We all have strength. Do we use the strength that we have? Do we use the potential that we have? Do we use the things that we recognize and see that I have this? Do we use that so that God can grow it and do more? And sometimes you do recognize the thing, but you don't use it because you think like it's not fully developed, it's not out there. Sometimes you even get to compare it to somebody else or to other people who are now big and doing greater things, and you're like, I have that same thing. But when you look at yours, you say, but it's just too small, it's not big. But the thing that you don't recognize, it's that person who is now big, that person who is using that thing, and you see it as a greater thing, as a much bigger thing than the one that you have. That person had to start somewhere. That person had whatsoever, used whatsoever that they had at the time to be able to get wherever they are right now. And whatever you don't do, what you don't recognize is that whenever you use something, it grows. That talent, that skill, so much. The more you use it, the more it will grow. The more you use that thing, the more it will develop. The more it will come and become something that is greater. The thing is, whatsoever that you have right now, it's a seed. It is an investment for whatsoever that is greater, that is yet to come. But first, you have to use whatsoever that is that you have at this moment, right now. Not what you will have, not what you had, but whatever that is that you have right now. It's exactly the same thing that God wants to use to get you somewhere. It's the same thing that God wants to journey through with you. It's the same thing that God wants to use to grow you and grow even more greater things in you, and for the generation to come. But the thing that God wants to use the thing that you have right now. God is such a great God, and it's just surprisingly that he seems as a God of a present, a God of now. What do we have right now? What do you have in your hands right now? So God wants to use whatsoever that is that we have right now. He says to the children of Israel, when they are on the wilderness, like going to the promised land, he said that when he was providing them with manna, he said that gather that is that you will use for today. I mean, like, how? We still have a journey along the way. How can we gather what we need right now? Why don't you gather more that we'll need, like, along the journey, like in the days to come? What don't we generate that? And you might be sitting there waiting for things to come, waiting for things that will happen, waiting for skills that will come. Yet you have a skill right now. Use whatsoever that is that you have. It will be a key, it's a seed, it will grow, and as it grows, it will produce more fruits and more seeds in them as well. So do use what it is that you have. I just wanted to share that with you today, as I was just like provoked with that. I was just thinking about the law of use and disuse, and God just took me back into this journey. If we use what we have, like God wants that what we have. And I just want to ask you, what is it that you have? Whatsoever it is that you have, use that. Be it a little decision that you have, be it an idea, be it something that a skill. It can be time. Sometimes, like, we have things. One thing that I know that we all have, it's time, but it depends how each and every one of us uses that time. But we all have time, we all have potential, we have a strength in us, and we have potential, but it differs on how each and every one of us uses them. We see that from the parable of the servants. it depended on how each and every one of them used their talent. And those that used them, they were granted more responsibilities, more was given to them, and they got more. They were faithful servants. But to the one that didn't use his, it was taken away from them. So I don't want us to be like the one whose talent was taken away from, so that Nati, we get ourselves in a position where now we don't have nothing, we don't have anything, because we couldn't use whatsoever that is that God get granted us and gave us in our hands. Let us never take for granted whatsoever that is that God gave us, whatsoever that is that we have in our hands. Let us never take that for granted. Let us never despise the little ideas that we have, the little that we think, maybe. Let us use it and use it. God wants that. He wants to see if we'll use whatsoever that is that he gave us, so that he can use it to even generate more greater things. So I just wanted to share that with you today, and just wanted to say that never despise the little that you have, the little ideas, the little things that God has planted in your heart. Never despise those things. Grow them by using whatsoever that is that you have. God is with you, and he will grow that, and he will generate more greater things in that. Use the little things that you have. I don't know for you, Kutiyini, that is that you have. All I know is that we have time, we have potential. So whatsoever that is that, I know it differs from person to person, journey to journey, and different areas of our lives. It differs as well. But whatsoever that is that you have, recognize that, and just use that. And if there's something that you think, if you're someone, maybe you just think, I don't have nothing, there's nothing that I have, pray to God. Ask him, what is it, God, that you've given me? What is it that you've granted me? What is it that I can use to just maybe serve you? What is it that I can use today to get maybe something? What is it that I can use today, so that I can even get more and be entrusted with more? But first you have to use and recognize. You first have to recognize what you have and use that is that you have. God will help you to recognize the things that you have. And I just want to say that if you're just confused and don't know anything, have ideas, you have a lot of things, I just want to say that go with the strength that you have. Go with the potential that is in you. Use that potential. Go with the strength that you have. Just be like Gideon and just go with the strength that you have. God is with you. That is it that I wanted to share with anyone today who is just like not using whatsoever that is that they have. That use whatsoever that God has granted you, recognize it and start using it, and it will grow more. So that is it that I wanted to share with you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed, and you'll join the family and we'll grow. And you'll comment down in the comment section and just continue and engage with me as we continue with this topic of using the things that we have. That is it that I wanted to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, go be and live with love. From me to you, with lots of love. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with anyone who you think will enjoy this video. Thank you so much. Bye.